Hey gang, Tim here again from Swords and Stones. Okay, so just because my buddy SJ, Stephen Joy, uh, challenged me to see the rest of my JP Coovert zines because I showed a few of my newer ones on a video yesterday, and I said I've got probably close to 30. So he's like, "Where's the rest? Where's the other video?" Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm going to skip through the first ones that I showed yesterday, which was this little group. So we'll put those over yonder, and maybe we'll put them over here. Okay, so going through one by one. Here we go. Bizarre Bazaars. Again, a nice little list of items and spells, yeah, and stores that stuff that might be sold at a market or something in one of your towns. Of course, got the awesome JP Coovert art happening there. Next one, this is a cool one. This is an adventure book called Ravenwood, and this goes through the story of Ravenwood, talking about 12 centuries ago. This is part of the Dragon of the Darkness Below, so this possibly would be in that box set. Very cool characters in here. Ghosts of Ravenwood, Ravenwood elves. Here's the map of Ravenwood, and my thumbs aren't working. Random encounters, of course. Ravenwood Keep. Here's a nice, wonderful pull-out map that is included with this, which is obviously freaking cool because we all love our pull-out maps. And yeah, so and then you go through the lair for the big bad, and that is part of the Darkness Below set. So that is a cool one. Next one we have Castle Gloom Shroud. Now this one here, pop it open. It says a terrible floating castle appears. The moon covers the sun. Your village suffers a foul curse. Ooh, dun dun dun. The infamous vampire lord Nicholas von Shroud has arrived. All right, so this is a vampire adventure. We have a side scroll type of a map here, which is kind of cool. I always like the little different options with my maps. And of course, it is all labeled. And so you have here all the encounters and quick drawings by JP of some of the persons or things that you may run into. That's pretty much what it goes through for the whole thing. Then you got the Shroud's Spire. So this is the spire in which, up at the top, where you would deal with the bloodsucker himself, or itself, right up yonder. And yeah, so a very cool little adventure, done in black and white, which I can really appreciate because even though I got this book sent to me, I have printed off a lot of these, and doing them in black and white like this is way easier to deal with than having to convert. And next, the Troll Bog. Again, a cool little one-shot or possibly an insert into one of your games. Under the bridge, something big lives. A dangerous monster is not what he is. He's snacking on bugs and mud from a hole. Stinky and lazy, you've met your first troll. Your first meeting, you best bring a meal. A friend and a troll with the power to heal. Don't be scared of his tusks, his size, or his might. He just wants to chill and stay up all night. Gotta love that. Cool way to intro this. So you got your adventure hooks. You got a big background on the Troll Bog. Here's the wonderful little map that you can get. Common dangers. So these are some of the things you could run into. Troll bridges. So while most of the Troll Bog is uninhabited wilderness, the bog trolls have constructed hundreds of stone bridges as per the map. So that's where you would run into all the trolls and their different issues. And here's some random bridges and the trolls that live under them. Here's some of the trolls' activities or adventures that you could throw in there. Bog troll games, that would be cool. Kind of like the Troll Olympics. Sorry if my camera's moving. You have a troll retreat, a bog shop, giant rats. Here comes a new challenger, so maybe an NPC. and Troll Skull Castle. So there's another cool little map. So this could be anywhere in the bog, maybe at the end of the bog, or maybe that's the end goal. Try to get in there and find the big bad. Maybe it's affecting the trolls and causing them to be mean instead of being nice and enticed by food. Okay. Next, now this one I've printed off. This is called Red Growth. And this one is also part of the darkness down below. This is using the mycelium area or land called Coppernop. I'm actually using this in a homebrewed game right now, where I've introduced a couple of my karate students to a D&D-ish style game, my own Swords and Stones, of course. But I'm using this. I'm using characters from this, the map, which is pretty cool, and some of the encounters, and of course we got the spire for the big bad. And in my game, I've basically called this an invasion by other bad or an ousted mycelium big bad person or mycelium creature that was ousted from the Coppernop, and now it's back trying to invade, and my characters have to defend the area from it and clear them out of the area and get them out. Okay, so here's another one that I printed off called the Great Goblin Flight. Oh, and by the way, all of these, when you sign up at JP's Patreon, you get the digital download included, which I wish every single game book that we buy would have a digital download included instead of having to purchase one. I just consider that a money grab. Dungeon Crawl Classics is really good for that. You can download, they come when you buy their hardcover books and you pay like $60 or something like that. On the inside cover, there's usually a digital download code, which is really cool. Because you never know what could happen. You might lose your hard copy. Maybe there's a flood or a fire or whatever. So this is Great Goblin Flight, Spellbinder by the Sea. So we got some waterborne adventures, and we got a castle. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on with the Big Boom crew. We got the description of the crew here. They're doing some mining. So this is a quarry, and goblins are in there doing some mining, and you have to come investigate what's going on and why there's issues. Try to solve it, or maybe try to make friends and move along. So yeah, cool. Sorry if the camera bumps. It's just I've got it on a just basically a selfie stick. Okay, here's another one, Perilous Passage. So this one here, the road between destinations can be a dark, dangerous, and desolate place to spend your days, but when adventure calls, there are no place we'd rather be. Traveling from here to there and back again means encountering plenty of memorable, marvelous, and sometimes menacing individuals. The journey is often more interesting than the destination. That goes without saying with a lot of things, folks. This guide is a collection of some of my favorite travel encounters. Just remember, when you at least expect it, a jovial journey can quickly become a perilous passage. So, yeah. So a smattering of encounters that you can throw into your game, or maybe you can build a game around this, that adventurers are just traveling down a road they've never been before. Maybe nobody has actually been before, or in a very long time. And these are kind of the encounters that they'll run into along the way. So very cool stuff. And of course, the awesome art of Mr. Coovert. Fiery Caldera, another part of the darkness down below, I believe. Deep underground at the very bottom of a massive pit is a lake of boiling lava known as the Fiery Caldera. Magma sinks and rises through the lava tubes surrounding the lake, making the caves a place where only the toughest and most tenacious can survive. Cool. So you got your list of adventure hooks. The Ancient One. It's very cool that in a lot of tales and legends and countries that in a lot of things, that we get to see the giant tortoise as being the Ancient One, or the one that's actually carrying the earth and that sort of thing. I really like that. It's pretty cool. So we got Ember Trolls. So trolls that live down there, and I don't know why this one's picking his nose. Maybe he flicks boiling lava snot at you. We got lava tubes, where you can see some lava creatures that might ooze out from it. More NPCs and critters. Yeah. And now this here, I believe, is the map that I printed off separately. One of them, you have two different maps. You got one without the lava invading, and one with after the lava has seeped into the to the caverns there. And yeah, so again, another little quick one shot if you want to throw it in there or make it part of your campaign. Moving right along, there's quite a few of these. I'll try to go quick. This is the Errant Tower. This says 1,200 years ago, a group of heroes vanquished the darkness below. So this would be in that box set. I'm thinking possibly. JP can correct me on that if you like. A twisted shadow that hungers for magic, sealing it away in an arcane prison deep underground. A millennium later, one of the heroes, a powerful wizard named Lucas Farvel, maintains the prison by regularly casting a complicated sealing spell, ensuring the darkness does not escape. But recently, dark spawns, fragments of the darkness below, have been showing up. So you got to figure out what's going on. What did he do? Why is the spell not working anymore? Is the guy still alive? There is a hidden agenda in here because it may not be the wizard you're talking to. I find that kind of cool. Here's our breakdown of the rooms. Here's your map of the spire as you go up. Some critters, some NPCs. Whoops. I missed a page. Descriptions of portals. Ooh, portals. Yay. And what happens next? If the adventure defeats the master and sealing spell can no longer be recast, the darkness below will escape its prison in a matter of days. Ooh, so you have consequences here of what may or may not happen. Cool stuff. Okay, moving along. Plum wax kobolds. Everybody loves their kobolds because they're, short, ugly, annoying, and like to play with fire. Needless to say, here we go. Down in the underground, a vast system of treacherous caverns descends deep underground. This is also part of the darkness below. So another one that JP can correct me if not, that this is part of the main box set. Okay, so we got plum wax kobolds. We have their reactions, their chants, traps, explore their lair. We've got Draconic Farm, a trapped kobold, the den. So there are different areas. Whoops. And we have some characters, some critters, and more critters. Ooh, that guy looks like from the Time Machine. Ooh, I wonder if JP got his inspiration from the Time Machine. That looks like one of those monsters. I like that. Yeah, so Dragon's Rest, Oxford Odo. So a lot of cool stuff in here. Again, one-off, or add that to your current campaign. Moving along, Shadespeare Mountains. I believe this is also part of the darkness down below. But JP can, of course, correct me on that. I'm going to keep saying that. The Shadespeare Mountains. So, with this one, just because the Shadespeare Mountains are protected by griffin-riding orcs, well, that's cool, does not mean they are without danger. Bitterly cold winds and shifting snow hinder travelers' passage. Stealthy predators lurk in the shadows of the pine trees. Skeletons rise from hidden crags. Giant rock creatures grow restless and territorial. Maybe like this cool looking fella. And a dark power grows beneath the mountains, has attracted the attention of elven bandits. Interesting. So not only do you have orcs flying on griffins, you have elvish bandits that are roaming around trying to steal stuff. So you have your random encounters, your weather encounters, different entries. And here is your wonderful little pull-out map. And you get to have a quick look at this. Bada bing, bada boom. Shadespeare Mountains and all of the area that you can run into. Lots of different encounter areas in this one. So even though it's not a big, thick zine, there's lots of opportunity to create adventure. Yeah, so moving along, and as you can see, we have dark spawns that are similar to what we saw in the Coppernop one, with the mycelium network. So I'm definitely thinking that this is part of the darkness down below, but again, I can be corrected. Moving along, Emperor of Worms. This is definitely part of the darkness down below because I saw that as part of the map of Coppernop for the myceliums. You find yourself falling down the pit, a massive 300-foot wide tunnel bore from the earth by the darkness below 1,000 years ago. Some say it's bottomless, others believe it's a portal to the underworld. Ooh. So this is your map, and the map is actually the inside of a dead worm, which is real exciting. Hopefully it doesn't stink. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit slimy. You got your adventure hooks. You have the description of the Emperor. You have the mouth, the brain, the esophagus, different areas going down, of course. And the critters that you run into. Looks like there might be a village set up inside this dead worm. full of insects, full of skeletons. Ooh, the occasional vampire bat. Well, that's cool. Yeah. And what do we got? We got ants riding centipedes and a giant slug. You gotta love it. This is one of the greatest things that I love about JP's stuff is that even if you don't read through all the details of all this, you can take those characters he's got drawn up and some of the basic descriptions and just have at her. Just create something fantastic. Okay, here we go. The official Silver Pen's Guide to the Darkness Below. The Crystal Cavern. So again, this is all a part, I'm assuming, of the box set. Going through, talking about the whole issue of what the darkness down below is all about. Lots of critters. Here's a nice cool map of a very interesting cavern area where there's lots of, looks like crystals and a giant floating cube. Is that a Borg cube? It looks like it's leaking oil. And here we have more critters, and again, talking about what the darkness is and how it has escaped. And again, throw this into your current campaign. Use this as a one-off, however you want to approach it. And here is some more background and lore to help you add and all consume your game for the darkness below. City of Eternal Night. I believe this is also part of the darkness down below. Yes, it is. 1,200 years ago, the darkness tore through Netherhold, an advanced underground dwarven city. It destroyed their mighty arcane forge before erupting to the surface, leaving a giant pit in the Shadespear Mountains. Now, 500 feet down, a cult, wishing to overthrow the world or cover the world in darkness, has built a temple in the walls of the darkness below's destructive path. Very cool. There's another map. Oh, there's some more of them dark creatures that Morlock. Those are definitely from the old Time Machine movie from back in, when was that? That's got to be the 60s or early 70s. That was a great show. So we have the Ruined Halls of Netherhold, quick description. The City of Eternal Night. Look at that. Now, who would want to just run across that swinging bridge and try to get... Yeah, not me. Nope, we have our bat folk, so we got to deal with some bats. Hopefully they're not vampires. Here's the Penumbra Temple. It's another area that you'll run into to explore. Some more critters. He's chewing on somebody's arm, so obviously they're not friendly. And there's a nice big hairy one. Ooh, you gotta love that. Boy, I tell you, JP, you really know how to put the comfort in zone for visiting these places. Okay, moving on. Here's another one I got in the mail, The Waking Thread, another adventure from Mr. Coovert. And this one here, the Valorum Temple. See the light at the top of the spire on the horizon? That's a Valorum Temple. The acolytes there pray to the goddess Valora, the protector of light, health, and warmth. Usually, everyone is welcome to the temple, and many who suffer all sorts of ailments travel there to be blessed, cured, and healed. Rumor has it the acolytes that at the tower are able to return someone from death. The temple has been sealed. No visitors are allowed. Closed indefinitely. So you have to figure out why they closed the temple, maybe. Figure out what's going on with the locals that live outside around the temple. As you can see, there's a little map here. We got a shady candle in. We got the honey stones. Ooh, interesting. And go from there. So here's some of the locals. Gophers? Maybe? Chipmunks? Maybe? You have a random encounter cable. You got the acolyte descriptions. We have, ooh, that's a nice run, purple worm run. Restless spirits. What else we got here? There's the full map of the temple, which is very cool. We got the inside and the outside, and breakdown of the rooms. And, ooh, who's that funky looking dude? I wonder if that's the person that is locked up inside and is preventing things from happening. At the end, it says, there's a small challenge that someone the adventurers have defeated in the past will take advantage of the resurrection ritual. Their restless spirit might emerge from the pool while the ritual is being performed, eager to enact vengeance. Okay, so again, consequences for making choices. Now, that's what I try to get my characters, my players to understand, is that you can't just be a murder hobo. You can't just run around stealing everybody's treasure. You can't just run into buildings and say, hey, we're taking over, because that's just mean. Unless you've been hired to do so. So you got to really be diplomatic, you got to be strategic, and you got to make your choices. So this is the map Very cool. I won't give you too much of a look at it because you need to sign up on JP's Patreon and buy those. Okay, here, before we get into this wonderful puppy here, we got some smaller stuff. We got Flick Silverpen's Guide to the Windsong Woods. So this is a very cool fold out. I believe it's part of a different one that I got, but maybe not. So here's a map to the Windsong Woods. Now I think this might be part of Shadespeare Mountains, but correct me if I'm wrong. And you got a description of the areas. You got encounters in the regions, what may or may not be going. So that's kind of like almost like a little hex adventure that you could throw in. So that's very cool. Here's another little one-off from JP, The Soggy Ruins of Sentinel Keep. This came as an added bonus with one of the zines that I got, so very cool. A little mini map, a little mini background, a little mini adventure, some funky NPCs and monsters to deal with. And I've actually used this in one of my ongoing campaign as a place for them to stop by. Okay, so let's see, I'm gonna move that back there because that's not really significant. Here we have Flick Silverpen's Guide to Dragons. So this is, again, a book of assorted dragons, a list of creatures that JP has drawn, given a little bit of lore and background that you can throw into your adventures. So again, it's like not like necessarily a random table list, but a reference booklet on dragons. Now, did we have Bizarre Bazaars already? Yeah, we did. So I have that printed off as extra. Weird. Little Weirdos. So this is the prequel to Big Weirdos, which we saw back here when I did the previous ones. Oh, okay, I moved it. Hang on. Big Weirdos, where are you? Drawing here. Big Weirdos. Okay. So that's this one here. That's the latest one, Big Weirdos. This was Little Weirdos. So apparently weirdos come in all sizes and shapes, which is true. I happen to know quite a few personally. Fellow adventurers, if you spend as much time traveling as I do, you're bound to meet some fascinating folks. And in my experience, it's the smallest people that usually have the biggest personalities. Yeah, I'd say so. This guidebook is a collection of some of the most compelling and curious little weirdos I've had the pleasure of coming across. So again, another reference. You can add these either as NPCs or as, I wouldn't say big beds, maybe little beds, or just random folks to run into. Or if you're into playing different species and different characters within your games, then you can always add that to your character list for rolling up characters. Here's another reference book, Bustling Streets and Unsavory Alleyways. So again, this is basically city encounters. You're running through a big city and you see markets. You never know what be going on. This looks like it's sewer workers unite. They're trying to rally and create a strike. There can be only one, a rumor on the streets. Rival adventurers. So you may run into another party of adventurers that are trying to do the same thing as you, and they become your rivals. Unwelcome guests, a bridge troll. So you may run into a troll that's maybe not too happy with you being there. A floating aquarium, that's cool. The map crow, maybe get your maps done up or purchase some special maps. We have a bot shop where you can get a construct apparently. Friendly game of Dragoon. So a game of dice, chance, and glory. Can you name the dragon and become its rider? Ooh, that's interesting. The Weaving Doors, Dragon Attack. Ooh, okay. Maybe not. And Exter's Manor, the Old Guard's Bounty, and a bounty board. Look at that. So you can put that up and say, hey, here's some mini adventures, searching for somebody or hire you to do something. Getting into more reference. These are one of the most popular books out there, I believe anyways, is JP's Flick Silverpen's Guide to Making Maps. So he actually goes through and instructs you on how to make these cool TTRPG maps. Now, here is all his basic pen and ink drawings, okay? So it makes it very simple to add graphics to a map and add areas with very little description and very little detail, and yet get your point across. So this is awesome. I love it. Now, I've been drawing most of my life, and I'm okay. But when it comes down to drawing a map and being very simplified, I struggle with that. I like detail. So using these books from JP helped me a lot, and I can't thank him enough. These are wicked. Staying with that theme, we have drawing monsters. Now, we showed you one before about drawing heroes. This is along those lines again, where JP takes you through a tutorial. I mean, it's not very often that you run into artists, professional artists especially, that will give you instruction on how to draw stuff. You know, most, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of times artists might feel threatened that you're going to take their job or you're going to steal their ideas. JP just hands them out to you. So a lot of respect to him for that. And these books are amazing. Really help you. If you're not an artist and you want to add flavor to your games, come up with drawings, these are the awesome books. Now this book here, Making Monsters. So you go through this book first, and it's random tables so that you can come up with cool descriptions of monsters, where they came from, what they do, what they look like, what their abilities are, or their non-abilities, or their nasty magic abilities, or what have you. And there's an example in the back here. And then you go from there to drawing monsters and try to come up with a cool drawing of it. So that's awesome. Miraculous Markets, another along the lines of possible encounters in cityscapes or villages where you run into different markets. And this is basically a menu. You've got tons of food in here. Not that you'd want to eat some of this stuff, but you never know, because you never know what your appetites are like, right? Some of the cool stuff that they got in here in the back, you've got curried floating fungi, fried basilisk tail. Ooh, that sounds really appetizing. Roasted violet worm skewer. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. Smoked trog ribs, melted amber jelly roll, murscale stew, spined hagfish fillet. Oh, the Scots might like that. Stir-fried manticore spikes. Okay. Venom berry pie. Do you get an anti-venom drink to go with that? Stuffed spider eggs. Yeah, I'm going to say no. And mimic cheese. Oh, so you go to take a bite and it turns around and tries to bite you back. That would be cool. Yeah, and here's the Wandering Market itself, which is very awesome. A little bit out of the Monty Python theme for me, but then I'm old. And yeah, some libations. So you got some potions you can turn into drinks and that sort of thing. Just the coolest ideas ever. Just friggin' love it. Here we go, drawing dungeons. So again, another reference on how to draw a dungeon. And you don't necessarily have to make it this kind of detail. You can make it this kind of detail. And JP just walks you through, again, sharing his knowledge and teaching you how to use certain icons and draw certain ways to come up with a dungeon. You could also use this book, I would say, for random dungeons if you're playing solo. You can just, there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 here. So that's 30 between the two. So you just come up with a number and roll on your D100, and hopefully you come up with a room each time. And as you're going through your solar game, Guide to Dragons. I think that was one that I have printed off. Making maps. Yep. Unscrupulous Emporiums. Yep. Oh, here's one, Exploring Dungeons. So you got drawing dungeons, and now we got exploring dungeons. So this basically takes you through is a series of questions, random tables, and advice designed to spark your imagination and help you create your own dungeons. So now that you've learned how to draw dungeons, blah, 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 then you learn how to fill them in, how to flesh them out, we like to say. So then you go in and you do that. Where is the dungeon located? What type of dungeon is it? What condition is it in? Do you need that? Nah, not necessarily, but if you want to, hey, go for it. What kind of people live in the dungeon? What ancestry do they have? So it gives you some background, some lore. What's the motivation? Wow, this is almost like okay, talking to an actor. What's happening? Why are the inhabitants in conflict? What kind of rooms are there? How is the dungeon defended? What makes the dungeon weird? Well, that would be me, because all my dungeons are weird. And what's next? Add details to your answers. Draw the map. Here's an example in the back. So very cool. And again, so you don't even have to be fancy. That is a cool dungeon. You can just have, 9 circles drawn, descriptions, and away you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Making maps, we love that. Okay, so this last one here is one of the bigger adventures that I got from JP. I actually purchased this one online from him and got it shipped to me. Yes, it was expensive because I live in Canada and the exchange sucks. But I love this because JP, not only was he grateful, but he sent me the digital version as well because I paid for it and got it shipped. So here you have Dragon Town. Now, Not sure if this is part of the darkness down below, but we'll have a look and see. Where are we at here? Guide to Dragontown, a resource intended to help a game master run a group of players through a short, low-level adventure. So this is a fully encased adventure. Adventure summary. You can go through. It says every night slimes bounce into the streets of Dragontown looking to devour any magical apples they can find. Magic apples. Ooh. A group of goblins has ransacked Grandpap's farm. The alley cats are looking to get their paws on Xanthrel's treasure, but haven't been able to get past the living vines protecting Malamir Castle right there. They have a plan, but are stealing from the townsfolk in the meantime. The bees of Fizzleflock apiary might be able to help past the living vines. There's a secret entrance into the castle through the Malamir crypts, but the dead have awakened, making it a dangerous path. Narunar, the druid, guards Malamir Castle. Once inside, the mysteries of the missing dragon can be uncovered. So that's pretty cool. I love that. A little bit of background, a little bit. And we got, now this is a very, very thick book. This is a full-on adventure, fleshed out completely by JP. Talks about the magic apples, talks about Dragontown, talks about the market, what's for sale, some of the NPC locals, Grandpap's, the slimes, the Valorum Temple is part of this. Here's Grandpap's farm, talks about the alley cats. So you have factions going on as well. Here's the alley cat's hideout. There's another cool map. I'm going through it quickly because I don't want to spoil everything for you. And Xanthrel the Gold Dragon as to what's going on. Why is the dragon here, or is it not here? Is it asleep? Here's Malamir Castle. Here's the main map and the breakdowns of the rooms. So it comes with obviously, it comes with a great map. And this map is double-sided. So you have, whoop, upside down, Malamir Valley. Shadespeare Mountains, so it's part of that. And you have Dragontown, and there's the Windsong Woods that I talked about earlier in that little mini fold-out that I had. It was part of Shadespeare. And here's Dragontown, a little more detail, the city itself, or the village itself. Yeah, just freaking awesome. A lot of work went into this, and you can tell. So this one, JP spent a lot of time on. It's friggin' amazing. Okay, that is pretty much all of them. So that's 1, 2, oh, I missed one. Hang on. Here we go. Nostalgia Prophet. This is one of JP's adventures. Again, based off of very similar to a video game, I guess I would say. This is based out of a mall. And you have to go through and you got to figure out what's going on. I won't give you too much detail, but a Class 7 memory-eating entity from another dimension has caused countless human-made catastrophes over the centuries. Now she's manipulating people inside the North Point Mall. Well, there you go. So this is a modern adventure. People nowadays, I'm not sure why we got Vader and the Power Rangers and a unicorn, but maybe because it's in a mall, and that's what you could run into. A nice, cool map comes with it. I believe it's only single-sided, but let me check. Yep. And that gives you the map of the mall and what's going on. So again, something you can throw into your game if you run an updated or a little more modern feel. So that's 2. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 16, 18, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 28. 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was close. I said 30. I've actually got 35 of these zines. And trust me, if you sign up at JP's Patreon, you get these, start getting these shipped to you. You will benefit from using them yourself, as well as, like I said, you get the digital versions, so you can just have them on your laptop or on your phone and pop them out during a game and chuck it in as a side quest or an added adventure, or just use bits and pieces from it for your homebrew like I do, and just get the joy and love of the feel of the artwork and the story, and just the amount of work put in by JP is amazing. So thanks again, JP, and hope you got lots out of that one. Stephen Joy. You're welcome. Okay, gang, like, subscribe, leave a message, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. Ciao for now.